Speaking of which, a West Michigan man is back in town for the first time today since Japan was devastated by that earthquake and tsunami. John Parker is president of Amway Japan and relocated his family from West Michigan to Tokyo to work there. He gives us a first-hand account of what it was like to experience the earthquake and how recovery efforts are going, along with how the Japanese people are looking toward the future.
Pretty normal day. I was in my office sitting at my desk at 2:46 p.m. When I first heard the earthquake before I felt it. And what I heard I thought was actually a mouse running through the ceiling tiles. And it went from kind of a creak to quickly a very violent jolt and a shake that was more intense than anything I'd ever experienced. And it was obvious pretty quickly what was going on. And it was a scary thing because of the length and the velocity of the shaking. The earthquake lasted almost 6 minutes, and it was really very powerful. Immediately, our #1 priority was the safety and the security of the people in our building. All the phones were down, cell phones were down. We actually opened up our doors to our headquarters in Japan and welcomed people from the street in, and it served as sort of an evacuation shelter that evening. We had several hundred people spend the night in the building. I stayed as well, and really just tried to comfort people as best I could. We broke out emergency food and water, and I walked around and tried to reassure everyone and comfort them as best as we could. The areas that were hit by the tsunami and those that weren't, the areas that were hit by the tsunami were absolutely devastated. Entire cities, washed out to sea, and that's where the loss of life and the damage came from, was the tsunamis. Areas outside the tsunamis, in Miyagi and Iwate and Fukushima prefectures definitely experienced significant damage, but not the widespread devastation that existed from the tsunami. The whole country basically shut down for about 5 days, and it took time to get the whole engine of Japan restarted, and everyone worked together to make that happen. You can do all the scenario planning you want, but when something like this happens, you just kind of start reacting and start doing the right thing and making decisions to move forward. Really, for everyone now, it's the devastation is over, the tragedy is over, and now it's time to move forward, except in Fukushima. Because the reactors are not under control, it still is playing out there, and having spent time with our distributors in Fukushima, the level of anxiety is very high, and the fear and concern they have, especially in an area that's predominantly based on agriculture and fishing, even if the reactors come back under control, when they do, how will those communities be able to sell the fish and the crops that they grow is a major concern for those individuals. It's still a difficult time in Japan now, but the support of the United States in particular has been a very powerful thing to see. The U.S. military, the U.S. government, and the support of many U.S. citizens through the Red Cross and others has been a very powerful thing. The Japanese are amazing, courageous, strong, resilient people, and there's no country in the world, I think, that could handle this type of situation as well as Japan has, and I'm just so impressed with their spirit and the strength and courage and compassion that they're showing through this.
Parker says he and his team are headed back out to Fukushima in about a week to spend time with the people there and to help them with their situation.